Angel and company lost that game badly. So the question becomes, how often is she going to deflect blame after a tough loss onto racist comments?
Skip Bayless didn't just question Angel Reese, he shattered her entire victim storyline on live TV. Let's be honest, he's just saying out loud what everyone else has been thinking all along.
But here's the issue facing Angel Reese. After bad losses, she sometimes publicly plays the victim.
Bayless claims Reese invented racist fan outrage the moment her Chicago Sky were blown out by 35 points, and the receipts he pulls are brutal. Rewind to May 17th, Caitlin Clark with a casual triple-double while Angel Reese had a devastating loss, and within hours, the narrative that hostile, racist chants were swirling around. National headlines explode, sympathy pours in.
First things first, let's hear what Angel Reese has to say. Let's hear Angel Reese. And if you guys pay attention, listen to her voice and listen to how she's on the edge of breaking down. Very funny.
Hate speech.
Yeah, obviously there's no place in this league for that. I think the WNBA.
Let's also watch the nervous body language, the nervous twitching. Yeah.
The league orders a rapid-fire investigation, interviews, arena footage, fan statements, only to declare they found zero evidence of hate speech, no slurs on the tapes, no corroborating witnesses, nothing that matches Reese's story.
Headline: WNBA unable to verify, quote, hateful fan comments, unquote, toward Angel Reese. Okay. Here's the league statement that was issued. We have investigated the report of racist fan behavior in the vicinity of the court during the May 17, 2025 Chicago Sky at Indiana Fever game. Based on information gathered to date, including from relevant fans, team, and arena staff, as well as audio and video review of the game, we have not substantiated it. The WNBA is committed to fostering a safe and inclusive environment for everyone and will continue to be vigilant in enforcing our fan code of conduct. Boom.
Bayless pounces, calling the timing convenient cover for the Sky's humiliation and a pattern of blame shifting every time Reese underperforms. He practically begs her to stop giving trolls free rent in her head and warns the WNBA it's playing with fire by ignoring the real cash cow it should be protecting, Caitlin Clark.
I believe the league conducted an extremely thorough investigation of this alleged incident. The players in this league are 60+% black, and the WNBA is and should be extremely committed to protecting its players from racist comments made to players in the arena during games. But here's the issue facing Angel Reese. After bad losses, she sometimes publicly plays the victim.
In the quick-cut headlines that followed, the details sounded horrifying. Racist chants near the baseline, slurs hurled whenever she boxed out, an atmosphere so toxic security allegedly warned her family to keep their heads down. But look closer at that moment. The very second Reese's story hit the wire, she shifted the spotlight away from Chicago's historic collapse and onto an allegation no one could immediately verify. Gone was any talk of why she shot 3 for 12 or how Clark diced them up for a triple-double. The conversation became a moral firestorm that sucked all the oxygen out of the box score autopsy. And for a heartbeat, it worked. Sympathy drowned out. The scoreboard and the Sky's locker room escape hatch swung wide open.
Did a white fan actually yell something out of bounds at Angel after she and Caitlin got into it? She jumped up as she was in the right to and tried to go at Caitlin and was restrained by her teammates. I don't know if anything was said. I have no way. I just have to go by what the WNBA said, which was no, No evidence.
Yet even as the narrative tilted in her favor, seasoned observers raised a collective eyebrow. Why hadn't broadcasters caught a single slur on their crowd mics? How did no courtside reporters notice a racial powder keg igniting right beside? But that reality check was coming faster than a Clark Logo 3. The WNBA's front office didn't wait for the Monday news cycle. By sunrise the next morning, investigators were scrubbing every second of arena footage, interviewing ushers, security guards, anyone who might have heard a single hateful word. 48 frantic hours later, the league dropped a statement. Based on all available evidence, we have not substantiated the reported racist behavior. Translation: no slurs, no chants, no smoking gun, nothing. News desks that had once blasted "Racism Rocks WNBA" pivoted to an awkward whisper. Twitter's outrage brigade quietly deleted their hottest takes, and Angel's bombshell now looked less like a moral reckoning.
Were racist remarks intended for Angel that night on social media? I'm sure some were. They're always going to be there. But should any of those kind of remarks be used as excuses or blame deflection after bad losses, especially to Caitlin Clark? Look, I'm obviously white. Maybe I just don't get it, but after a while, you say to yourself, come on, Angel, not every single time.
That's when Skip Bayless re-entered the chat. Armed with the league's findings, he dismantled Reese's timeline on live TV the way a chef fillets a fish. Clean cuts, no mercy. He replayed her shaky presser beside the empty evidence column and asked the question everyone else tiptoed around. If the hate was that loud, why can't anyone hear it on the tapes? Bayless labeled it emotional damage control, warning that real victims of racism get buried whenever false alarms steal the spotlight. But here's the twist Bayless said the league refuses to admit. While they chased phantom hecklers, their actual golden goose, Caitlin Clark, kept taking elbows, hacks, and flat-out tackles with zero superstar whistles. It gets worse, because those blown whistles reveal exactly how jealous veterans, scared refs, and league officials are conspiring against the one player single-handedly carrying the league.
That game on Saturday was live on national TV on CBS. The New York Liberty are, of course, the defending champs of the WNBA. But the main reason that game did a massive TV rating wasn't Breanna Stewart or Sabrina Ionescu. The main reason, obviously, is by far the biggest draw in the WNBA. The reason just about every Fever road game is moved to that city's NBA arena. That reason, that player is obviously Caitlin Clark.
Let's separate facts from feelings. Bayless began tapping a stack of stat sheets like a gavel. First incision, timing. He held up the box score, Sky -35, and noted how Reese's allegations surfaced within 1 hour of the final. Buzzer. That's not a coincidence, he said. That's crisis PR dressed up as moral outrage. Second cut, pattern recognition. Bayless replayed clips from previous Sky defeats where Reese echoed the same script, poor shooting night, followed by cryptic tweets about hate in her mentions. Notice it never happens after a win, he smirked, only when the stat line looks ugly. Third slice, psychology. He quoted sports psych research on external attribution, the brain's reflex to blame outside forces when performance tanks. It's human, he admitted, but champions own the mirror. Pretenders point at the crowd. Finally, Bayless went for the jugular with a side-by-side revenue graphic. Fever ticket demand up 420% since Clark's debut. Sky home attendance hovering at half capacity. You can't bully math, he said. The league's cash register rings whenever number 22 hits the floor, not when Nus 5 plays victim. Then came the knockout line that set social media ablaze. Angel, the only thing chasing you right now isn't racism, it's Caitlin Clark's box score.
Petty jealousy kicks in, takes over. Other teams are constantly complaining to the league office about all the publicity and all the credit that Caitlin Clark gets. Even though she doesn't do much on social media, doesn't say much when she's interviewed, just says all the right things, nothing but cliches and platitudes, nothing but respect for all of the older stars in the league. Caitlin's actually pretty boring, unless she's playing basketball. Yet this league office is obviously deathly afraid of an open player revolt.
The panel fell silent. Twitter erupted. The clip hit 2 million views before lunch. Bayless wasn't just debunking Reese's claim. He was exposing a cycle where jealousy, not injustice, drove the headlines. But that's not the whole story, because while Reese was busy deflecting, the refs were sending a very different message to Clark, and it cost Indiana a game everyone saw them earn. 5 days after Reese's press room tear fest, the Fever hosted the defending champ Liberty in a nationally televised showdown that should have been a coronation for Caitlin Clark's rising star. Instead, it turned into Exhibit A for how far the league will bend to keep jealous veterans happy.
The Liberty at Fever game came down to 3 very late calls, all of which went against Caitlin's team, the home team, in the loudest and most intimidating arena. The Pacers got those calls, not the Fever. So help me out here. 12 seconds left. Caitlin Clark made a sensational bounce pass through heavy traffic in the lane. Just a wizard pass to Duana Bonner, who appeared to get tackled as she shot. Not block shot, just tackled, just rammed. No call. What?
Fever guard Lexi Hull mirrored Sabrina Ionescu step for step, hands tidy, feet square. The contact? Minimal. The call? Foul. 2 shots. Ionescu, fresh off bricking her last pair, calmly buried both freebies to steal the lead.
Then on the other end, Lexi Hull of the Fever did a very nice job of just staying right with Sabrina as she drove to her left, did not appear to make any significant contact at all with Sabrina, with body or hand. Foul on Lexi Hull with 2.2 seconds left. What? What foul? The Fever did have a challenge left. I immediately tweeted, challenge! But the Fever, I didn't know at the moment, had no timeouts left to use that challenge. No challenge. And Sabrina, who had just missed 2 free throws, stepped to the line and made both of these. New York up 2. Way to go, Sabrina.
Indiana had 1 chance left. Clark pulled the inbound at half court, slashed left, and leapt for a game-tying floater. Natasha Cloud clobbered her, body, wrist, elbow, the kind of hit that draws automatic whistles for every marquee player in every league. Buzzer, no call. Loose ball, game over.
Now, 2.2 left, inbounds to Caitlin Clark, who drove hard left on Natasha Cloud, who was all over Caitlin Clark as she went up into her shooting motion just before the buzzer. It sure appeared that Natasha Cloud body fouled Caitlin, rammed her, then hacked her across the wrist, then hit her arm as she attempted to get the shot up. No call. Loose ball. Turnover. Game over. What? No call?
The arena scoreboard flipped to Liberty 88, Fever 86, but the real numbers screamed louder. 3 blown calls in 12 seconds, all against the league's top draw in her own house. Even stoic coach Stephanie White broke character, calling the non-call on Bonner egregious and the foul on Hull disrespectful. Translation, the refs are getting a memo. Don't you dare look soft on Clark. Skip Bayless sliced it even deeper on Undisputed the next morning. When the moneymaker gets mugged and the refs swallow the whistle, that's not bad officiating, that's a directive. He argued the league is terrified of a locker room mutiny if Clark starts getting the superstar treatment she's already earned. Better to let defenders hack and shove than risk veterans whining about favoritism. In effect, the WNBA is sacrificing its golden goose at the altar of locker room politics.
You'd better believe that all of the established stars in this WNBA, as well as lots of veteran starters on every other team, constantly, quietly, privately complain to their coaches and to their team executives about Caitlin Clark getting way too much attention and way too much credit for the exploding TV rating.
But here's where the strategy backfires, because every no call, every cheap shot only pours rocket fuel on Clark's popularity while turning the Sky and their allies into cartoon villains. If you still think this is media hype, take a look at the cash register. Before Clark's rookie debut, the Fever struggled to crack 5,000 fans a night. Now every home date is standing room only, with resale prices that spike the instant. Her name appears on the injury report. 6 separate franchises, including Dallas, Phoenix, and New York, have moved their Fever games into full-size NBA arenas just to keep up with demand. Chicago offers the perfect control sample. When Clark visited in May, the Sky upgraded to the United Center's 20,000 seats and were days from a record sellout until news broke that Clark would miss time with a quad strain. Overnight, secondary market prices plunged 70%. Upper Deck tickets that scalped for $125 dropped below $20. Without the Fever on the schedule, Sky crowds hover around half capacity, and local sponsors quietly remind the front office who moves the needle.
The attitude I sense from so many other older WNBA players seems to be, what are we, chopped liver? It's not just her driving these ratings. What have we been doing all these years? Sorry, ladies, but compared to her drawing power, you are chopped liver. You're just going to have to accept that she and she alone is driving the ratings way, way above what all of you together were able to generate before she first set foot on a WNBA stage.
So when Skip Bayless says the league is biting the hand that feeds it, he isn't spitting hyperbole. He's reading a balance sheet. Keep roughing her up, and the WNBA risks turning novelty into negligence. But that's not all, because the Sky's jealousy-fueled game plan is backfiring in ways that make villains out of veterans and superheroes out of rookies. Every soap opera needs an antagonist, and the Chicago Sky have auditioned with gusto. Think about the optics. While Caitlin Clark keeps shrugging off elbows and draining 30-foot daggers, Sky veterans bump, tug, and trash talk like they're reenacting a pro wrestling heel turn. Instead of intimidating the rookie, Chicago has minted her as the league's resilient protagonist. Every shove becomes a highlight, every no-call a rallying cry, and suddenly Clark's merch sells out again because fans want to armor up beside her. The Sky aim to knock her off the pedestal. Instead, they're handing her the cape. But listen to this, because if league brass keeps letting jealousy set the tone, the 2025 playoffs could explode into the kind of narrative chaos that either triples ratings or torches credibility for good. Meanwhile, ticket brokers nervously hedge next month's inventory, because a players versus prodigy standoff could crater resale prices overnight. The WNBA is staring at a fork in the road. Protect its rising global icon and risk veteran backlash, or placate jealous incumbents and watch casual fans switch the channel. One path triples revenue, the other turns it away. But here's the gut check, because whichever route the league chooses, Clark's next move could rewrite the very blueprint of women's basketball. The WNBA can't dance on this tightrope forever. Either referees start whistling body checks and forearm hacks like they would for any MVP candidate, or the league risks confirming its worst critics, that jealousy outranks justice and politics. Trump performance. Fans have long memories, so do advertisers. If Clark walks off that court one more time, clutching an elbow instead of a trophy, no manufactured controversy will distract from the empty seats that follow. Drop CC Superstar or Sky Ride or Die in the comments. Smash that like button if you think skill should beat jealousy every day of the week, and hit subscribe, because the next chapter of this saga might just decide whether the WNBA rockets into its golden era or fumbles the biggest opportunity in its history. Stay tuned, because the fireworks haven't even reached halftime.